Time goes by, Minecraft updates over and over again, and with updates we get and lose lots of things in the game. Since first video about removed and unused features were warmly accepted, I decided to start my work on the next video about features. In the first part I mentioned only Java Edition features, but now it will be Java Edition, Bedrock Edition, and even some things from Legacy Console Editions and Pocket Editions. Brick pyramids were tall experimental generated structures, made up exclusively of bricks present in Java Edition InfDev. Pyramids have been added to test out structure generation. A full brick pyramid contained about 344,000 brick blocks, which is equivalent to about 5,249 stacks of brick blocks, though the exact number varies depending on the terrain. Beginning from the spawn point, one can be found by walking forward to the south, 500 blocks, then turning left facing east, and continuing on for another 500 blocks. This brick pyramid is centered at X502, Z553. The starting house was a building which generated at the center of InDev maps. The player would spawn inside of the starting house when the world was first generated. This structure was added in Java Edition InDev 0.31 2010-01-24 and was initially comprised of mossy cobblestone with 2 torches inside. The starting house was reworked in Java Edition InDev 2010-02-13, having a stone floor and walls made of oak planks. In early alpha and beta versions, player had to use hoe and grass blocks to get wheat seeds. This feature was added in Java Edition InDev 2010-0206-2034 until beta 1.6 when seeds could only be found by destroying tall grass. On Pocket Edition, this feature lived much longer. It was added in alpha 0.4.0 and deleted in version 0.12.1 build 8, which means that Pocket Edition players were tilling grass for almost 3 years. Yeah, Pocket Edition were way too far behind in terms of updates than Java or console editions back in the day. Prior to Pocket Edition version 0.9.0 alpha, the crafting system used was an old version of Mattis, which stands for Minecraft Advanced Touch Technology Interface System. The crafting screen used to have an in-game description for all craftable items and blocks. It was removed after the new crafting screen were introduced in Pocket Edition version 0.9.0 alpha, and then replaced by the classic crafting system with recipe book in Bedrock Edition 1.2.0. The stonecutter is an unused decorative block. It was previously used to craft many stone items in Pocket Edition Alpha and the Windows 10 Edition Beta, until its functionality was moved to the crafting table. Stonecutter was added in Pocket Edition Alpha version 0.6.0 and later lost its functionality in version 0.13.0 build 1. It was later replaced by a new stonecutter in the creative inventory, but it still exists in old worlds which had one. Prior to Pocket Edition version 0.12.1 alpha, the Nether reactor core served as a placeholder to obtain items found in the Nether, such as glowstone and nether quartz. A Nether reactor could be activated in survival by tapping its core, sending the client message active. Immediately after activation, a massive structure of netherrack with multiple rooms, unofficially referred to as a nether spire, was generated around the reactor. Then, the cobblestone would turn to glowing obsidian, and pigment would start spawning along with nether-related items such as quartz. Even though the nether reactor core has been unobtainable since the addition of the nether, it has not been removed, and breaking it still drops the diamonds and iron ingots that were used to craft it. Options for classic, small, medium, and large world sizes. Large, medium, and small are only available on the Xbox One Edition and PlayStation 4 Edition. On the Nintendo Switch Edition, there are only classic, small, and medium world sizes. Xbox 360 Edition, PlayStation 3 Edition, PlayStation Vita Edition, and Wii U Edition do not have the option for world size. All worlds generated in these editions are classic size. although it is possible to expand them if they are transferred to an edition that supports larger world sizes. The locked chest was a block intended to direct players to the Minecraft store, a site created as an April Fool's Day joke. In Beta 1.4, if the date is April 1st of any year, the game picks a random location to generate a locked chest in every new chunk. If the chosen location is air and has a solid block below, a locked chest generates. The gear was a block that could be placed on walls and grounds, but had no clearly defined or implemented functionality. It is believed that gears were intended to be used in mechanisms, similarly to the redstone wire. Gears are only known to be obtainable through the use of inventory editors and other external tools. In Unused, a texture called Fluff.png was added. It was used as a texture for clouds from InDev 2010-06-11 to InDev 2010-06-18, but became unused in InDev 2010-06-24 and was removed by Alpha 1.2.2. Giants is an unused mob added in InDev. They appear to be a giant zombie. Giants have no movement AI. Therefore, they are unable to walk around. They cannot spawn naturally because the game requires the light level to be both greater than 11 and less than 8, and those conditions cannot be met in vanilla. This makes them impossible to spawn via monster spawners. The Super Duper graphics pack is a cancelled graphics update that was formerly in development for Bedrock Edition. It was announced at E3 2017, received further promotion at Minecraft Earth 2017 with the Super Duper Minecraft musical. The pack was intended to add dynamic shadows, lightning that streams through fog, movement in leaves, grass, and other foliage, new textures for blocks, items, mobs, and villagers, directional lighting, edge highlighting, specular maps, additional 3D geometry, emissive maps, tone mapping, dynamic exposure, increased draw distance, parallax exclusion mapping, and other graphical improvements. It would have cost around $10 US. Unfortunately, sometime later, pack was delayed due to problems with the graphics engine and performance issues, and was ultimately cancelled in 2019 due to problems with performance across various platforms. There were also speculations that Super Duper graphics pack was probably cancelled to promote Minecraft RTX that was announced same month when Super Duper pack was cancelled. The quiver was an item briefly present in in-depth versions of the game while items were being tested. Its texture came from Notch's previous Legend of the Chambered game and remained in the files for many years afterwards. During the development of Java Edition 1.9, Dinnerbone posted a Minecraft screenshot clearly depicting the quiver as a usable item in the inventory, where it had what seemed to be a dedicated slot alongside a slot for arrows. He shared another screenshot of the quiver in the inventory a few weeks later, with the quiver slot in a different location. On June 30th, 2015, Dinnerbone stated that he scrapped quivers as he felt that holding arrows in the offhand felt more natural. On February 21, 2010, Notch made a post in his Tumblr about plans. One of those plans was NPC Village. 1.5 years later, on July 1, 2011, before Beta 1.8, Notch released a screenshots with early villages, featuring completely different buildings with Beta 1.7 world generation. On August 10, 2011, Notch announced that Jep will now work on villages, so that he could work on other things. This is probably the reason why we got completely different looking villages that was first time shown on PAX 11 on August 26, same year. Rubies were intended to be the original currency used for trading. They could be seen in a screenshot released by Jep on May 21, 2012, in which the trading system was first being tested. Emeralds were decided upon over rubies, as Dinnerbone stated he had difficulties distinguishing between ruby ore and redstone ore from a far distance, which he attributed to his red-green color blindness. These features were briefly mentioned by the developers. We have a bit of information about few of them, but most of these just blank ideas with no further development. Dungeons and Levers expansion pack was supposed to be published after games released 1.0 version. This expansion would include a dungeon mode, programmable tiles, pressure plates, levers, doors, more mobs, and lots of other things. As you know, nothing like this ever released. In 2014, developer of Minecraft Pocket Edition, Damaso Cheki, showed unimplemented feature of 3D grass and water waves on Twitter. This wasn't implemented, probably to be un-Minecrafty. Swamp villages do not generate naturally in Minecraft, but in 2016, developer of Minecraft, Jason Major, showed a screenshot taking place in a village. On the screenshot we can see a village located right in the middle of a swamp, with roads being made out of cobblestone. At Minecraft Live 2021, it was stated that the Wild update would focus on biome diversity and immersion, giving a unique identity and atmosphere to different biomes. The birch forest was used as an example to demonstrate the new atmosphere, and concept art pieces depicting an improved birch forest with new flowers, shelf fungi, tree branches, and fallen hollow logs were shown. Also shown was swamp concept art with fireflies, flowering lily pads, and new tree shapes. Later it was stated that concept art is not a commitment, and that this part of the update was now not something we have continued working with in an Ask Mojang episode.
As with the birch forest, that is a little bit different. At Minecraft Live, we did show some concept art with birch forest improvements. However, concept art is not a commitment, and this time around, birch forest improvement is not something that we have continued working with.
Spikes received a mention in mid-2009 by Notch in a blog post. Some rumors say that these were originally planned for Java Edition Beta 1.7, working by extending and retracting spikes, but were replaced by sticky pistons. On May 28, 2012, Nathan Adams stated that he'd like to add spike blocks, but is unsure of how to implement them. Caves and Cliffs implemented pointed dripstone, which can damage mobs and players that fall on them or are crushed by them. Ryan Holtz mentioned in 2013 that colored lighting was being experimented on and might come in the future. Later he shared screenshots and a video of what this unimplemented colored lighting looked like, claiming it was never implemented due to not being performant enough. Colored torches were later added in Minecraft Education Edition, however they do not use colored lighting.